In continuance with the 5 series of utility, this is the utility series in which we are going to discuss on the law of equimarginal utility. We have already discussed in the utilities series 5 regarding the utility, the concept that utility is a want satisfying power of a commodity and it differs from person to person, place to place and time to time. We have also come to know that there has been two concepts or two theories regarding utility, cardinal utility approach and the ordinal utility approach. Cardinal utility approach, as discussed in the series 5, was measuring utility in imaginary units called utils. This law of cardinal utility approach has been explained through two theorems or two laws, law of diminishing marginal utility and law of equimarginal utility. The law of diminishing marginal utility has been already discussed in the series 5, that as we consume more and more of a commodity, the utility which we get from the successive unit goes on diminishing. In this continuance with this law of diminishing marginal utility, the law of equimarginal utility has been also explained on the same law, on the basis of the same law, but in a different way. We all know that the consumer consumes any product, any goods or services based on his purchasing capacity and the prices of goods and services. So that has been taken into consideration in this law of equimarginal utility, and then we'll move forward. So this law is also known as Goetzen's second law, and this law points out how a consumer can get maximum satisfaction out of given expenditure on different goods. The law states that in order to get maximum satisfaction, a consumer should spend his limited income on different commodities in such a way that the last rupee spent on each commodity yields him equal marginal utility. We all know we consume varied commodities, goods and services. We are not stick to only one commodity or goods and services. Now a consumer, or I should say a rational consumer, wants to spend in such a way that the satisfaction which he derives from every commodity, goods or services consumed should be equal. That means, that doesn't mean, or yet, in other words, we can say that if we are consuming edible goods, that is giving greater satisfaction than our clothes, or if we are staying at any place, that is giving major satisfaction. No, we should get satisfaction from all the goods and services at an equal level. This law has been explained in two concepts called traditional statement and the modern statement. The traditional statement has limited to its explanation to the income of the consumer, while the modern statement has taken a broader approach and explained with the taking into income of the consumer also and the prices of the goods also. The traditional statement states that a consumer will spend his money income in such a way that the last rupee spent on each product will give him equal satisfaction. This is based on three conditions. There must be two or more commodities. Whatever marginal utility he gets from fourth commodity must be equal, and he must spend all the income. These three conditions have to be fulfilled when we are studying this law of equimarginal utility. So coming to this law, we can see that there are more than two commodities or two commodities. So there are two commodities, apple and banana. The second condition, that the marginal utility of both the commodities should be equal, has been at various places. Like, and we can see that if the consumer is consuming one apple and two bananas, the marginal utility is equal. If the consumer is consuming two apples and three bananas, the marginal utility is equal. If the consumer is consuming three apples and four bananas, then also his marginal utility is equal. Now the third condition, that the consumer's whole income should be spent. So the consumer's income is rupees 100 a year. Now we'll take the instance of all the three cases and calculate whether the income of 100 rupees is being spent. So if we take the example of the first unit of 1 unit of apple and 2 units of banana, the consumer income is spending only 20 rupees of apple plus 20 rupees of banana, that is 40 rupees. In the second instance, 8 and 8, that the consumer is consuming 2 units of apple, that is 40 rupees, and 3 units of banana, that is 30 rupees. 40 plus 30 is equal to 70, but the consumer's income is 100. So this condition is also not being fulfilled, so the consumer won't be in equilibrium. Now the third case, that the consumer is consuming 3 units of apple and 4 units of banana. That means 3 units apple means 60 rupees and 4 units of banana means 40 rupees. So 60 plus 40 is equal to 100. So the third conditions is also being fulfilled. So we can see that these three conditions, there must be two or more commodities, the marginal utility should be equal, and he must spend all the income. All the three conditions are being fulfilled when the consumer is consuming 3 units of apple and 4 units of banana. Now, in the modern statement, as I told you earlier, that the price of the commodities has also been taken into consideration, and it is also practical also, because whenever we exhibit our purchasing behavior, our income, that is our purchasing capacity, along with the prices of goods and services, is also equally important. So this law, the modern statement, is also called the law of proportionality, and according to them, a person gets maximum satisfaction when the weighted marginal utilities are equal. In other words, when marginal utility of one commodity divided by its price and the marginal utility of other commodity divided by its price are equal. That is, MUA upon PA is equal to MUB upon PB is equal to MUC upon PC. So these three should be equal. Or if any other commodity is also added, their marginal utility divided by its price should be also equal. So seeing that in a schedule form or a tabular representation, here we can see that the marginal utility of X and Y is given. The price of X and Y is also given. So we have to take out the marginal utility of money expenditure, because in the modern statement, we have to not only equate the MUX and MUY, but we have to take into consideration the MUX and upon PX upon MUY upon PY. So we are knowing the marginal utility 20, 18, 16, 14, 12 and 10. We will divide this marginal utility of X divided by the price of X is equal to 2. So from this calculation, we derive this calculation MUX upon PX, because we are getting the MUX divided by the price of the commodity, that is X. That means 20 divided by 2 is equal to 10, 18 divided by 2 is equal to 9. And similarly, the MUY upon PY is also calculated through this column. We are knowing the marginal utility of Y, and we are dividing the marginal utility of Y by its price, that is rupees 3. So from 24 divided by 3, we get 8, 21 divided by 3, we 7. So likewise, we are getting both the columns. Now, in this modern statement, we have to equate the MUX upon PX is equal to MUY upon PY. So there are many instances when they are equal. You can see also 8, 8, 9, 9, 7, 7, 6, 6, then 5, 5. If you will calculate the way I have told you in the previous slide, the same way here also, if you will calculate, you will get to the conclusion that when the consumer will consume 4 units of Y and 6 units of X, he will be in equilibrium, because his whole income 24 rupees is also being spent. MUX upon PX is equal to MUY upon PY condition is also being fulfilled, because when the consumer will consume 4 units of Y, that means 4 3s are 12, and when he will consume 6 units of X, 6 means 6 2s are 12. 12 plus 12 is equal to 24. So the whole income is also being spent, and this will be the place where the consumer is getting the maximum satisfaction. So this is all about the traditional statement and the modern statement. In my next series, we will be discussing more on the utility. As I told you all, there has been two concepts regarding the utility, the cardinal utility approach and the ordinal utility approach. So when we talk about the cardinal utility approach, we have come to know about the total utility, marginal utility, the law of diminishing marginal utility, the law of equi-marginal utility. Now, in my next series, we'll be discussing on the ordinal approach. That is, utility is a subjective factor. They thought that utility is a psychological feeling we cannot measure in numeric terms. So please join in my next series. Till then, have a nice day. Thank you.